So a few years ago, back when I was around 13 years old, this is the period of time in which I got my first ever skateboard. And trust me, from that point on, everything in my life revolved around skateboarding. This was like a passion for me. To this day, everything in my room skateboards, right? Whilst I don't really skate anymore, wait, I hope I can show you this. Yeah, look, you can still see my lamp, right? Everything used to be about skateboards in my life, and it was a big thing for me. However, things started to take a turn around when I entered high school, right? This was a period of time in which the judgment from other people started to have a much bigger impact. Suddenly, when somebody would say something that would kind of hurt my ego, right? That would offend me, it would just randomly, I would care more. That's the thing that I'm trying to say, right? I would just care more about what others would say, right? And even though I was getting better at skateboarding, right? The progress was slow because I was really scared to do some of the things, right? Here I was trying to land my first ever kickflip whilst I could barely ride on like pebbles and the more bumpy roads, right? I still struggled to get off of curbs, do basic ollies, so jumps and stuff. The point is that I struggled with fundamentals because I still had this fear. Whilst I was already trying to do all of the fancy shit, right? I was already trying to learn kick flips, varial flips, all this stuff, right? And soon enough, as people started to notice that I was often getting called a poser, right? It's funny to me now, right? But back then, to this day, honestly, the number one term people use in skateboarding when somebody's pretending to be good, which is pretty much what I did, they call you a poser, right? And I heard this so many freaking times. Not just that, right? People were just downright making fun of me for whatever they could pretty much pick on, right? And that started to have a much bigger impact the older I got, right? All the way to around 14 years old, that shit used to affect me. I used to listen to what everyone had to say, and I used to let it affect my mind and my behavior a lot, right? However, one day, everything just shit hit the fan, pretty much. I remember I was in the skate park, and I came there with a new skateboard, right? It was beautiful. I share this story all the time, right? Because this purely defines how I used to be back then. This skateboard had a pink deck, right? So not deck, but grip tape. Essentially, the skateboard, the skateboard itself was normal, but the grip tape, right? The grip tape was fully pink, and it had a logo on it. Now, personally, I liked it. It was pretty damn cool, right? But when I went there on the skate park with this new pink skateboard, right? And all of the fucking annoying 12-year-old scooter kids saw it and they started to point fingers at me. To this day, I remember this to be one of the most embarrassing days of my life, right? Because I let the opinions of others affect me so much. I'm pretty sure my face was red. Usually my face doesn't get red when I'm embarrassed, but this was the day where I think I was literally where my face was as pink as the skateboard, right? But yeah, maybe there was only one or two guys who actually thought the board was cool. Everybody else was just pointing fingers and making fun of me, right? So that day, I came back home, I put the skateboard in the corner of my room, and from that point since, I pretty much quit skateboarding. There have been a few times where I tried to go back into it, I would go skate here and there, but besides that, I pretty much quit, right? And if there's anything that I want you to remember from this video, please remember the fact that regardless what you do with your passion, whether if you keep going, even though people are hating on you, or you just quit, you put the board in the corner of the room, you forget about it, you do something else, people will talk anyways. Regardless of what you do, even if you were to go and find another passion, another thing that you might even like more, people are still gonna talk about your ass there anyways, right? And this is exactly what happened to me. Very quickly, a few months after I started to skateboard, right? I had this period of time where it was just Minecraft, right? All I had to do is Minecraft, video games, my Nintendo Switch, whatever, right? And after those few months, I did find skateboarding. Wait, what?
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I shouldn't be recording this after a fucking car crash, but yeah, I started basketball. I started to play basketball, and that was an even bigger thing for me. Turns out that it was much easier for me to play basketball because there wasn't this fear factor that, I'm gonna do something to myself. Basketball was cool. I just had to like learn a few dribbles here and there, learn how to shoot, and before you even know it, I was already playing, right? And very quickly, after, I started to ball out at PE and I started to quickly destroy everybody, one of the PE teachers actually invited me to practice. So we have like this practice facility in our city, right? Where my school organizes training camps. I got invited to the training camp, which for me it was sick, right? I didn't know anything about it back then, so I thought that I was getting an invitation to like the next D1 league or something. But in reality, it was just an open gym where everybody can go, right? But I was pretty excited. I grabbed all my stuff. I went there the next day. And what do you think happened when I went there? I got humiliated, literally destroyed. The first few practices that I went there, I was getting humbled, right? I got so used to like doing all like the weirdest of moves when I'm playing street ball, and here I was like playing with actual good guys. So like I had to actually play normally, right? I wasn't able to do all of the street ball moves or whatever. I don't know why I keep waving my hands around, but you get the point, right? And it got pretty annoying at first because as people started to like dunk on me, like break my ankles, whatever, they started to get the image in their minds that I'm not a good player. Fair enough. I probably wasn't the best back then, right? But keep in mind, all of these other guys, they had years of basketball experience to their name. I barely started playing it, right? And I was already kind of catching up, right? And right now, it's been 2 years, way over 2 years since I started playing. We're almost approaching 3 years, actually. And I've gotten pretty good at it, right? Around a year ago, I remember it was the beginning of 2024. The school that I go to was starting to pick people for the tournament. There's like a multi-school tournament where all schools play against each other. They like duke this shit out, right? Everybody wanted to play there. Everybody wanted to make the team on their school so, they can like flex that they finally made it to the team, whatever, right? B, that shitty player that everybody used to dunk on back then made it to the team. Sure, I was at the very back of the bench, right? But all of the guys who used to shit talk me in the past, right? All of the people who used to point fingers at me, blah, 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 they didn't. And the satisfaction that I felt in that moment, brother, this was one of the most fulfilling feelings I think I've had in a while, right? I can't think of the last time I felt something so fulfilling. Okay, there have been a few things here and there, but you get the point, right? So whenever I played basketball, I remember once we played in the tournament, especially the tournament, right? When these guys who didn't make it were sitting in the first row, every time I got the ball in my hands, they was already screaming shit at me, right? It felt like they were watching a Kevin Hart performance instead of a basketball game, right? Every time I would mess up something, it felt like they would laugh 20 times harder than everybody else. Trust me, It was pretty hard. I still remember that one basketball tournament, right? Where I got destroyed pretty much. Like the school lost, right? But even though we won a few games here and there, right? I just felt like I was, what was the word? Underworking. Like I wasn't performing, like I wasn't living up to my standard. As if I was not playing as good as I should be, right? As if I wasn't good enough. Mainly because of the pressure. I was playing against guys who are literally professionals. And after I got whooped in that tournament, completely underperforming, as I said, I stood in front of the exact same question. Should I quit? Or should I keep going? And thankfully, this time I made the right decision, right? Because I kept playing, I kept pushing against the odds, right? And whilst there have been multiple situations in which I got destroyed even further, right? There's been a time where I entered a tournament in summer with my friends and we lost a game by a whopping 50 points. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'll put up the force, like the score. I'll put up the score on the screen so you can see it. Brother, it was destructive. There have been so many times where I wanted to quit ball. Now that I think about it, way more times than there was with skateboarding, right? Because I only had one time where I thought about quitting and I did quit. With basketball, there have been countless of times whether if I should keep going, keep playing or not, right? And the one analogy that also helps me throughout the entirety of it, simply realize that you should prioritize the fun of the game way over the actual results, right? Because this is where everything's gonna start to get tricky. You should master the hunt. What's the saying? You should master the art of killing, not the kill itself. I believe this is from Atomic Habits, not fully certain. But what I mean by this is when you focus on actually having fun in the game, once you actually start to be present in the moment as you're playing, that's when you actually give the best results. And this isn't just for sports, right? This is for pretty much anything. Jeez, my nose. I hate winter. Yeah, pretty much. What was I talking about? Bruh, this is getting no views. This is gonna have 1.5 minute retention rate, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my friend. Because I got fumbled up in my own words, I need to check the script. Fuck me. Yeah, you should prioritize fun over results. What I mean by this is that when you are actually focused and you are present in the situation, in the game, that's when you actually put out the best results, right? You know this voice, this conscious voice when you have it in the back of your mind that's like whispering stuff to you? You're not supposed to have it when you play the game. When you're doing something that you're truly passionate about, your mind just like blends itself into it, right? At least that's the case for me. I don't know if that's the same thing for you, but that's always been the case for me. When I'm doing something that I genuinely love doing, my mind is in a perfect flow state, just like the way it is right now. I can talk about flow state and not break my own flow state because I am so focused on what I'm doing. That's how much I love recording music, right? This is another one of my passions. But yeah, when you are playing the game, you don't get these thoughts, right? This is what athletes refer to as the zone. You've seen this with basketball players all the time where they like say, oh yeah, I was just in the zone. I was locked in. That's the same thing. And trust me, I say trust me a lot. If there is one thing you can do to truly maintain the fun of the game, get rid of this overthinking mindset. Just try to flow yourself into the rhythm of the game. Just lock in on what's happening instead of being stuck in your own mind. Because when you are stuck in your own mind, this is when all of these negative thoughts start to flow in. And when they start to flow in, oh brother, it's like pouring water on clothes. The deeper it starts to sink in, right? The more wet the shirt gets. And once, in this case, your shirt is soaked, once your brain is filled with these negative thoughts, like you can't put on the same shirt anymore. Wait, this analogy was pretty smooth. You get the general idea, right? Once you actually focus on having fun in the game, the results will come along, right? Now, a lot of people focus on just chasing results. And this was exactly what I did in that tournament, right? I was in this overthinking mindset. So I needed to get the balls, oh, I need to prove to these guys that I'm not that bad. But the harder I try to, the more I would end up getting myself humiliated, right? The more I would get embarrassed. The more I would embarrass myself, really. I don't have anyone to blame. That's pretty much it. This video was kind of a yappery and I really hope that my camera didn't die throughout the recording because I would be really upset. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you found value in this video and you want to talk to me directly, if you can just downright relate to what I'm saying, right? You can pretty much tell that we're very similar. Please join the Discord server. Even if you don't want to hang around the group, you can just DM me. I'd prefer if you could actually talk to the tribe, right? Because there's a lot of people that can actually relate to you. This is also where I host my weekly calls, right? Therefore, you will actually get an opportunity to talk to me like a human being. And yeah, not gonna waste your time. Not gonna stroke your motivation dick even further. I'm definitely getting canceled for that one. But yeah, it's time for you to turn off this video, get back to the thing that you love doing, and make sure that nobody takes it away from you. You can click all the videos if you want to. You can subscribe. That was kind of contradicting myself here, but yeah, just make sure you do all of that stuff if you want to. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. So keep working, brother, and take care.